Well, hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we have a lot of updates to go over, a lot of layout progress has been made, and I've gotten a few more additions that I think you guys are really going to love. So let's check it out right now on Sam's Trains. So let's talk about what's been done. Since the last update, I kind of just ballasted this track. I think I mentioned that, and it came all the way out to here. I still have not done anything on that, but the biggest news is the upper level is starting to come together. We have fully made the extension back there that comes all the way through here. We did some modifications to the track plan a little bit to make things smoother, and I think it actually is going to turn out really well. Then over here, the trains come through the city on the top level over here, and we have it going all the way back connecting over there. We now have a full loop of track. We can actually run trains if we wanted to, if I hooked up the transformer right now. Going back into the track plan, we have the Morrison Doors factory over here. We're going to have a grain silo right here. And then in the far back corner, we have a little just loading facility for whatever I want to store back there. You could probably fit a couple of cars on that siding. And I'm not sure what I want that to be. It might be a freight depot. It might be something else. I'm not sure yet. That will be determined in the near future. But for now, everything else is coming together. And you can also see here how this isn't where this is going to be exactly. We're going to have to make some cuts here. But this will be where the tunnel portal is for the Morton Salt building. Making our way to the front side, you can get a better angle of how all these tracks come together. The main line is going to be the track on the left there, and then the passing siding is going to be the track on the right. That will also double as a runaround for the local when they're switching out in the city. Moving over here to the right, you can see that we've put all this track together now. We have these turnouts here in place. The passenger station will be here. I have to put more bench work up here, but I will get to that later on. I'm not too focused on that. Right now I just want to get to running trains. So we've now got all of this together. Turnouts here, and then this will go to a branch line going out into the city to a few more industries, but that will be for another time. And then, as you saw in last video, we have the inclines going through here, and they're going now, as you can kind of see, underneath the table over here. Like that. Okay, so I hope you guys have enjoyed the work we've done so far. Now let's get into looking at the new trains that I bought. Up first, I have my Lionel Legacy, my second controller, back from Lionel. This had an issue with the remote, but now it is back and it should be in good working order. We'll test that later. I've got a mystery package here that I will explain to you guys more about at another point in time, but this is definitely what I wanted to show you guys. This is the Norfolk Southern tank train set that Lionel made about 10 or 12 years ago. And I picked this up from a guy in Pennsylvania. Shout out to Nick with PGH Train Fanatic for putting the contact information for this guy in the description. This is the person I bought it from. And then he also sent me the Norfolk Southern -9 dummy unit along with the set. So this is a very cool addition, something I've wanted to get for a while, something I've been looking for a good amount of time, and I'm glad to add it to the collection. Next up, I picked up 3 of these Atlas O articulated covered auto carriers. I have one more over there in the display shelf right now, but I ended up picking up 3 more to add to the fleet. So now we'll have a train of 4 of these. We have 2 Norfolk Southern, we have 1 TTX, and then that one over there is also a TTX. While we're talking about new trains, I added this Union Pacific AC6000. I also added the Lionel Norfolk Southern Fantasy Paint Scheme Heritage Unit numbered 1982 to the collection. And this shelf is now becoming the Fantasy Paint Scheme SD70 area. I've got this one, and then I've got the Pennsylvania, and the Conrail that I did a review on a while back. Other than that, I added a Reading 442 Atlantic, and everything else here you've already probably seen on the channel or I've done a review on. I've not done a review on the 765, and I can do one if you guys want, but there are plenty of reviews out there right now, and this is just the newer one with the added Mars light. Everything else is still the same. And finally, in terms of more rolling stock, I have added a whole ton of the MTH Cole Porter hopper cars. I currently have about 36, I think. This is currently a train of about 30, and I've got a box over here of, I think, 4 more that I still have not taken out of their packaging yet, plus 2 more that I just bought recently. So we're going to have a very long coal train on our lines very soon. So now, let's get into more work on the layout. So now we're going to paint this wood so that when I put glue and such on, it doesn't damage the wood. The paint will sort of soak it up instead of it actually getting into the wood and damaging things. My grandmother's here sanding these edges down and just making them nice. I'm going to go ahead and tack the ends of the rails down with some screws so that we know where they are and they're not going to move when I take this track off for us to paint it. I'm also going to seize this opportunity to go ahead and put the road bed underneath this so that we can go ahead and get that done and out of the way, because this track should be fully in place. By the way, for this, I'm not actually putting down anything to glue the road bed down. I found that just the Atlas track screws hold the road bed in place while holding the track in place too. Gluing them down, you can do that too, but I found it to be an unnecessary step sometimes. Now, all that's in place. And I'll put more screws in later. Oh yeah, I've got to cut this piece of wood too. Alright. Okay. And that hole has been filled. These 054, 072 switches are interesting. I'm trying to figure out how to do that. I think I've got an idea. Oh, am I out of juice? Oh no! I'm out of battery. Alright, now, new battery. Okay, and now this track is all tacked down. I can't move it, which means it's in place. On this one, the 054, 072, which I have a few of these, I've ended up bringing this one on the outside. I'm going to make a new one on the inside later, but that's tomorrow's problem, not today's. And like I said, this is rough, so I'm not going to clean up all these little edges and all the, switch points. I'm not doing that yet. I'm just worried about getting the track down so I can remove all this and paint this. So let's work on this side now. One thing I didn't think about is this has to be slightly more trickier because I'm not just working with putting this down, but I'm also working on the elevation up to this piece, which is, yeah. I'm trying to figure it out. And now all the tracks are tacked down, and now we can remove everything we painted. Woo! Fun thing about these Atlas connectors is if you ever have one that's too loose, you can just put your fingers on that and bend it in, and you can fit it back on there pretty nicely. Okay, and all the track is now off of the incline, and I've put in 2 stacks. The top of the stacks start up here. That's the out. This is that one is for the inside, and this one is for the outside. Now I can begin shimming this and painting it. Okay, now I'm nail gunning these down because you can see they're still not together. Now what I've got here, as I said earlier, are shims. As you can kind of see, well, you may not be able to tell on video, but this is kind of angled this way. And what we're going to do is we're going to stick these on the ends here and sort of level it out a little bit more, just so that trains run easier and there's no risk of them falling off the table. That would be a bad day. Okay, so this level looks a little bit off. It looks like I just need 1 shim right there. So I'm going to take one of my 1 inches, put it right there. And there we go. I don't know how we can tell it on camera, but that gets it just about perfect right there. So now we're going to put a nail right through it. And that is now solid. Let's move on. This one looks just fine. Now the inside is definitely way off. Let's grab our shims. Let's fit one for now and just see what happens. Yeah, it looks like we're still gonna be ever so slightly off. Fit our second one in there. And 2 is about the limit that I want to go because we are still raising up the level here a little bit and trying not to make it too much higher than it actually is because the higher we go, the more incline, the more it messes up the incline. And we try to space this out pretty well already, but that's level. Yeah, so there we go. Anyway, so now we put it on the table. So we're gonna try and experiment. You can see this is still not level here, and that there's some leeway in the table. And if I push it down, and I had that leeway, you can see it's about level there. Well, I've already experimented with the nail gun, and the nail gun has proven not to hold it down when there is pressure keeping the board up. So we're gonna try a screw. See if a screw can keep it down. Might be a little bit too much. Let's see. Okay, let's keep that down and check that out. We are pretty level. Okay, well that is awesome. I'll now just finish this. There we go. Now, the only thing I have to do is cover this up with scenery, but that's not too hard. That's actually relatively easy to do. Check that out. It's almost level. That's good enough for a passing grade. Alright, now this is obviously getting a bit boring and it's going to be very hard for me to edit, so I'm just going to do this the rest of the way. You've kind of seen me do it before, so I'm just going to turn off the camera and get going. Alright. Ready?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a lot of sawdust.
Yeah.
Oh man. Still keep
More
going
this
that way?
way, yeah.
Alright. Woo!
Okay. That looks good.
Yeah. It's really good, actually. And now we need the vacuum. The small pieces, I'll make sure not to get. Okay, so now real quick I'm going to demonstrate how I do some wiring. So right here I have 2 wires and you can kind of see that I have taken off the ends with a decent amount of wire showing. I just burnt it off with a lighter. And we're going to put these 2 together. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to cross them in an X pattern, and then I'm going to take one and cross it back onto itself, and then the other I'm going to take and cross back on to itself, like that. And so now we have a string, and I can pull it and they won't, I can't pull it too hard, but I can pull it softly and they won't come apart. Now we're just going to solder this connection and we'll be good to go. Okay, and it doesn't show it very well on camera, but now that is soldered. It's not my best work, but you know, this will do. We're going to do this for a lot more connections, and hopefully I'll have a better soldering iron and a little bit better of a technique for my next attempt. Okay, one other nifty little trick I want to show you. We're down here by the Morrison Doors industry. So I've got this electrical wire going from both outside rails here on the end. But as you can see, this Atlas O buffer, on the end piece, there are two small little bits that go behind the ties. You can see that on one here in the front, how it goes behind the ties to keep it in place. Well, over here, that wasn't quite possible because where I put the electrical wire. So what I've ended up doing is taking one of the ties and breaking it apart, and now that means I can put this buffer piece wherever I want back here, and then I can fill the rest of the area in back there with ballast. It kind of gives the illusion that maybe the track is old or broken or damaged or, you know, something else along those lines. The other reason I can get away with this so well is this is in the back area of the layout. You can sort of see where we are, get your bearings. And so this isn't going to be viewed very often. Normally you're going to be seeing it from the front, which means you're not going to be able to get this view very often. So it's a very subtle detail that only a few people will notice, or you guys will now know because you've seen my video. And this is also a 2-for-1 deal because I can use these spare tie pieces to put in other places of the layout, like maybe around the yard or maybe in somewhere that's a junk pile, just to add more of an illusion of maybe there was an old tie some of those taken out or something else. So yeah, I'm not upset about breaking a couple pieces of Atlas track for these kinds of things. You can do it pretty easily, and sometimes it comes in handy. Okay, well thank you guys for sticking around here till the end. I have one quick announcement, a big announcement, and then I'm going to do my closing and we're going to run a train. So, the LOTS, or LOTS, or Lionel Operators Train Society, is having their annual convention here in Knoxville, about an hour away from where my layout's at. Now, I might actually go to that convention this year and look around. I might go pick up some stuff. I might be there selling at a table, but there's a bigger announcement on top of all of that. Every year they go out to someone's layout around the area, and this year they were going to go to the Crossville Model Railroad Club's layouts. However, the Crossville Model Railroad has sadly closed. We're not closed as a club, we're just relocating right now, so do look out for more information on that, and I will keep you guys posted on our progress, but right now we do not have a space, so they were not able to tour the Crossville Model Railroad Club. However, I've been in contact with the lady who does all of the work for LOTS, and I will not confirm or deny if my layout and possibly the Crossville Model Railroad Club's traveling layout is on that list. But if you have the chance to come to the Knoxville LOTS convention and buy a ticket to go to the layout tour, I would recommend it. That is all I'll say for now about that.
This is the dispatcher. Do you copy?
Copy that, dispatcher.